Hello everyone, it is now Monday, September 4th, and Burning Man is supposed to be over, even though the man has not burned yet. Quite a few people are leaving and they are not waiting around for the postponed burn of the man, which is supposed to occur tonight. And I just thought after 4 days here I would give my overall review of the event, and if I had to give Burning Man a letter grade from A through F, I think I would give the event a C. And the reason for that is just because there was not as much stuff going on as I thought there would be. Now that doesn't mean that there were not things happening at Burning Man. It's just the things that were going on were very spread out, and I would almost compare Burning Man more to a college campus fraternity situation where some of the parties were open to the public while many others were not. And as far as Burning Man being this socialist experiment in the desert, it really is not that. I would also almost compare Burning Man more to a circus, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, as you can also have fun at a circus too. So to recap, is Burning Man a arts exhibit in the desert? Yes. Is Burning Man a booze and drug fueled party in the desert? It can be. But is Burning Man this profound socialist experiment? Not really. I actually think you could get far better value for your money just by going to, say, Circus in Las Vegas, Nevada. You probably have a lot more fun going there as opposed to coming here. And as far as which spot would have more clowns, that's debatable. Maybe Burning Man would have more clowns than the real Circus. And this is the Pancake Playhouse. They have free pancakes and also vodka, lemonade, and they even have a disco inside of their tent there. And this is a really great idea. This is Camp Hydration Station, and they have free energy drinks here for everyone. Gatorade, water, and some unknown energy drink there in the center, but nonetheless, great idea. And just walk by and fill up your cup. Hello everyone, this is Burning Man 2023, the year of the Animalia, and I just got here in time for this storm to be passing through. It's rather breezy outside, and it was raining on and off, and just here in center camp, and some people are having a I don't know what you would call this, maybe a powwow, and they also have some guest speakers here, and they're sharing their Burning Man experiences. Some people have been coming here for 10-20 plus years, and some people have some pretty interesting insights. Anyhow, hopefully this storm will eventually pass, so we and everyone can get back to enjoying Burning Man. And just while we're waiting for the rain to stop, just thought I would go over the 10 principles of Burning Man. And gotta get the handbook out. First principle is radical inclusion, which means everyone is included. Second is gifting. This is a gift economy. You are not supposed to pay for anything. Third is decommodification, and that means it is a cashless economy. Fourth is radical self-reliance, and that is a little contrary to the previous two, which basically means you're supposed to be self-supportive, basically. The fifth one is radical self-expression. The sixth principle is communal effort. The seventh is civic responsibility. And the eighth is leaving no trace. Ninth is participation. And 10th is immediacy, which means everything is in the here and now. Yesterday is gone and tomorrow is not here yet. And if you like campfires and bars, you could stop here at Hardley's, and they even have a this barrel here that they have their campfire in. That's a pretty clever idea there. And it looks like in the back this is where their camp is, or at least where they're parking anyway. And this is, I believe, maybe 245 Street or so, looking south. The wind and the rain might have gotten to some camps more than others. Not sure if they had a shade structure on top of the second floor there or not, but it looks like part of this camp is being taken down, and the sign in the back there says, "Smile if you masturbate." And this is the man himself, who was scheduled to be burned tonight. However, with all the rain and subsequent mud that we have, apparently they have rescheduled the burn, though it's not clear exactly when it's going to be scheduled to. We shall see. Need your hair done at Burning Man? This is the Bitching Braid Camp. Their hours are 10 to 2, Monday through Friday. Get your hair done. And they even have a bar right here off of the street. And then their camp is behind all of that. Looks like they have a RV with a rooftop view. This is Camp Giggsville with a burning car on fire right in their backyard. Rather interesting. It is Thursday night here. 2 more days until the man burns. And here is a close-up of that car fire at Giggsville. And it looks like they have this old, maybe suburban truck, and it's just filled with firewood. And it's a pretty good use for an old junk car, just using it as this giant fireplace. And there's their it's like another sound camp there in the back. Very neat. And this is the man himself. This is what all the other camps are centered around. And I would say this statue here is maybe 50, 60 feet tall. So about a 5-6 story building. And looks like you can go inside. It's a little bit busy right now. Might come back here later on. A lot of people just hanging out here. Got these art cars kind of just going in circles. That's a neat one with the flames coming out of the top. There's a whole bunch of fire out in the distance there. And there's some more art cars, and this is Burning Man at night. I'm now on Esplanade Street and around 3 o'clock or so, and this is a pretty interesting exhibit directly ahead. The giant sphere in front would be planet Earth, and the one to the left looks to be the red planet Mars. And then they also have a third one in the back. You can't really see it from here, but that's the moon. And this is Esplanade Street here, and then they have these camps. This is called the White Trash Superstars, and it looks like they have a bar area, and I guess their camp is more in the back there where that RV is. And then looking out this way, this would be the start of the playa, where they have a lot of these art exhibits and also art cars. And this looks to be a bus that you could just hop on and hop off. I guess it's a little bit of art as well. And further off this way, there's a that looks to be probably another camp, but they do have pretty neat art there. There's a giant gorilla in the front, and they also have this circular dome there. Not really sure what that is, but they got a lot of fire coming out of that contraption in the back. And this is where the flames that we were seeing in the distance, where they might have been coming from. And this exhibit, they have these rather large propane cylinders set up in the front, and it seems like about every 5 minutes or so this thing will just go off like that, with these starts pushing out these fireballs. Pretty neat piece of artwork. And across the way there's a sound camp. That's the one with the giant gorilla. And this must be the pyro side of Burning Man. Well, maybe the whole city is pyro, but they got these propane cylinders with torches just right on top of them. And I'm hoping that all this is safe. They just flare off every couple seconds and explode as well. And these other camps here, they have just all these open fires here. And this is a rather interesting looking art car. Looks like a giant boat, 2-story bus. You could just hop on and off that. Very neat. This is some sort of a Thunderdome, and inside looks like they have a gladiatorial match or whatnot, and people are just climbed up on this dome observing the games inside. And here comes one of the art cars, or might be driving away actually. Has the flamethrowers on the top. And there's a lot of bicycles parked out here. Everyone's got their decorations on their bikes and their lights on. And we're now just down the street from the Thunderdome. And apparently not all camps are as popular. This is a disco dance floor they have. It looks like there's just maybe 2 people dancing there. And it doesn't look like they're serving drinks, so that could be why it might not be as popular as the Thunderdome. And there's no bull at Burning Man. Well, maybe just one bull. There's a bull art car with giant torches for the horns. Very neat. I'm now on Esplanade and about maybe 5 o'clock, and this is Camp Reverbia, and they have this live band playing. Looks like they have a lot of band members up there. I'd say there's about 8-9 people. And off to the side, that's their camp. And there goes another art car taking off. Looks like some tiki torches on top of that one, and a lot of bikes parked behind. This is a pretty common scene at Burning Man. You get these circles of RVs, cars, campers, tents. Does not look too inviting. As far as, are they having a good time in there? Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. And looking across the street, not a whole lot going on over here. And here's another circle of cars and RVs and campers. Pretty quiet over here too, especially considering it is the last night of Burning Man. More camp circles here as well. Street unknown, approximately at 3 o'clock or so. And across from them is an open camp. They got a bar set up in the front. At least there's a couple people having a good time. And across the street from them looks like an RV park. Just a whole bunch of these RVs lined up. Are they having a good time? Who knows? What do you do when your RV gets stuck at Burning Man? Call in the army, of course. Well, okay, this might not be the army, but somebody brought a army truck to Burning Man, and that RV is dug into the ground pretty deep. He might even have a hard time getting them out. Question: is Burning Man green? No. The only thing that is green are those gas cans running that giant generator for all these RVs here. Pretty soon they're gonna start calling this Stuck Car Man. I don't know what this person was thinking driving this. Looks like a Chevy Malibu through this mud. Sure didn't get far. And this is what happens when you try to tow a fifth wheel trailer out of Burning Man in the mud. It just gets dropped right in the center of the street. And he's probably gonna have to wait for this mud to dry out completely before whoever owns this can come back and pick up their trailer. And more of Burning Man in the rain. This rain continues like this. It's starting to get pretty deep in places. I say right now there's probably at least a ½ inch of water on this street. However, some people are still living pretty well. You got the luxury campers, RVs over here, and then other people, maybe not so fortunate, sleeping on a cold, soggy tent floor tonight. Burning Man just might not be the socialist utopia many people thought it was. And here is some colorful and some not so colorful art on the side of this row of porta pods. And the colorful art even is complete with its own light setup. How very clever of them. So let's see what the bathrooms at Burning Man actually look like today. Uh-oh, that's a lot of moop on the floor. Hopefully that's just moop. Burning Man not doing a good job. This is what burners mean when they say mooping their camp. What they're doing is they're going through the mud and picking up every little piece of trash, and they're attempting to restore the playa to its original dusty, dirty form. However, they have some rather interesting costumes. The person in the center looks to have a heifer outfit on, and the blue and pink one, those could be bunnies. So I certainly give them credit for their costume creativity. Not a good idea to bring kids to Burning Man. And this is an example of how not to pack while leaving Burning Man. At Burning Man, you can even drive your bed to work And though this is a rather simple art car, it's still pretty interesting. And this is the balloon lady that just walked by. She has this string, must be at least 30-40 balloons. Did you know that Burning Man also has an airport? This is it directly ahead. These planes are parked here, and further out is the runway, which is where that one plane that's taxiing in the distance. Looks like he might be getting ready to take off here. And most of these airplanes, from what I can tell, they look to be piston driven. The one that's taking off definitely sounds like a turboprop. And he's cruising down the runway, just about getting ready to take off there. And it looks like some of these airplanes, people also camp next to them too, such as this one directly ahead. That person has a tent set up there right next to their airplane. And that other one did take off. Pretty good day to fly. A little bit of a light breeze, but not too bad. The mud dried out here, so it's back to being a flat, dry lake bed. And further out in the distance, that would be the line for the Exodus. You can barely see it from here, but there's a whole bunch of cars lined up, and the line stretches all the way back to here. I would say that's at least a mile-long line. So not too many people are going to be waiting around for the rescheduled burn, which is supposed to be happening tonight, and that would make it 2 days late. But really out of control of the Burning Man Corporation, as we did get rain on and off for the last couple days. And there's another airplane getting ready to taxi out to the runway. That one looks like a smaller one. Though the event might be called Burning Man, you certainly do not want to do this to your camper. And this could be the end result of a number of things. Improper storage of fuels being stored too close to generators, or just carelessness in the kitchen. But this camper has certainly seen better days. This is a good example of the different camping strategies at Burning Man. This would be the cluster of tents under what was once probably a shade structure. And it looks like the shade structure is down, even though the rain might start again. And then right next door there is the more well-to-do burners with their campers and RVs. Socialism at work? Maybe not. And welcome to your new home at Burning Man. It's even complete with an outhouse that's being towed right behind it. Very neat. What better spot to put your tent than on top of your U-Haul truck, especially after a rainstorm like what we had on Friday, where everything just turns to mud and muck. This is Camp Dump, or so the sign above their shade structure says, which sort of resembles one. And across the street, that looks to be more like a parking lot. And I guess it is kind of resembling a little bit of a dump. Very clever. And this is Camp Ghetto, which is a rather interesting name, and it even looks like a bit of like a ghetto. A lot of junk parts, and across the street is looks like a parking lot. And here's a little tent city, very appropriately named. And this camp is rather appropriately named as the Shit Ain't Right Camp. And not a busy day at their bar. Might go join them for a drink, see how that goes. More camping contrasts at Burning Man. Directly ahead are some RVs or RV conversions, campers. Yeah, I guess they have tents there in the center too, sort of a mix. And then across the street, these are car campers and mostly tents. Looks like a bit of a parking lot over there. And further down, another bus RV conversion. This just keeps looking like this giant parking lot here. And here's a little tent city. At least all the tents are the same. Or those are yurts. A little bit higher end than your typical tents. And this is confusing signs at Burning Man. This one says, once you are free, you must decide who you really are. And then White Rabbit Army. Who knows what that means? Not to sound too sarcastic, but some of these art vehicles look rather just like junk, such as these two buses parked here. And then next to those is another bus conversion. This one has a second level with a beak on the front of it. This is probably one of the better ideas at Burning Man, and surprisingly, for a environmentally friendly, or so it bills itself, leave no trace event, you really don't see too many of these solar panel powered structures, but they apparently made one here for this camp, and that is a very good idea. It is now Saturday night, Burning Man. However, the man is still here. He did not burn yet because of all the rain and mud. However, things are starting to pick up a little bit. Still not as much going on as I thought there would be, but I guess you got to make the best of it. A few discos, and here they have, I guess you call it a campfire. And that's Esplanade Street there. This camp looks a bit curious. It's called Play ASG, and they have a slide here, and then over here they have these, some sort of like a tilt ride. They have two people on those, and it looks like they're just tilting back and forth on them. And they have a second one over there. No one's on that one though. And here are these art cars just passing by. More bicycles. And back to the tilt ride.